grip on the steering wheel, the foot on the throttle, and the desire to get the 2012 NASCAR season underway as they come off turn 4 and face the start-finish line.
This is going to be, we ended the year with so much excitement last year. The championship and a tie. Tony wins with the most wins. What a great finish we had to 2011. But folks, you ain't seen nothing yet. Get up on your feet. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys.
Martin Truex from the pole led the drag race to turn 1, but that's Jamie McMurray, #1 on the high side, taking the lead off 2.
He got quite a push from Dale Earnhardt Jr. in that 88 car when they took the green flag here on the start-finish line area.
Joey Logano locked onto the back bumper of Earnhardt, and he goes to the lead entering turn 3.
It's been a while since Junior won a race, but the first time he drove a Hendrick Motorsports car right here 3 years ago, he won this very race.
3 wide off turn 4. Around a complete lap 1. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Joey Logano, Martin Truex, McMurray side by side with David Reagan.
Yeah, I've been watching that outside line. I see Kevin Harvick in the 29 car with his teammate Paul Menard in the 27. They started way at the back of the pack. They've been working that high side.
That's one thing, since they resurfaced this racetrack, you can just run anywhere you want to, have tons of grip, no issues in the turns.
Jeff Gordon getting a push from Denny Hamlin. You're watching from Kevin Harvick, 29. Way on the high side, McMurray comes up to cover Harvick. That leaves Jeff Burton in the middle. In 31, the Cat car.
Larry, Harvick runs this race like Dale Earnhardt did. I mean, what do we call him, the closer? And you got to get the job done in a hurry in this race. He is wasting no time getting to the front.
Yeah, Kevin Harvick started back in the 22nd position, and we've only run 2 laps, and he's worked his way to the front.
I always thought that's what made Dale so great in this race. He was impatient. He didn't wait on anybody. And if you didn't go, he'd make you go.
Riding with Carl Edwards. And now Harvick gets up to the back bumper of McMurray. No contact, but McMurray squirts ahead of Martin Truex on the outside. Still a lot of 3 wide in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, and you notice not a whole lot of pushing either. I mean, everybody's got a little gap. Everybody's being pretty respectful of each other right to this point anyway.
Jimmy Johnson audio.
The 34 car has David Reagan in it. The 55 is Michael Waltrip. Remember, the 15 is Boyer. And in the 22 is Allmendinger.
So many changes this year. Drivers need a scorecard.
Yeah, could you replay that a couple of times so we can remember?
McMurray to the front for Chip Ganassi. Jamie McMurray, past champion of the Daytona 500, puts his #1 in the wind and drops it down to the bottom of the racetrack in front of Earnhardt.
That one car, Larry, pretty stout piece, I tell you. Took off and led the thing, and here he sits leading it, coming to the line.
Yes, he is, but I'm looking back there. They are 3 by 3 by 3 by 3.
This is the kind of pack racing Daytona fans have long been familiar with, and it's a 2-car breakaway. Can McMurray and Logano get away from this field? Doubtful. How long will it take them to run him down?
There have been so many aero changes made in these cars. The rear bumper's been extended down to cut the airflow out from under the car down some. The rear spoiler's smaller. Lots of aero changes.
Hang on, Jamie. You've just been freight trained on both sides.
But he jumps back down to the bottom behind Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 88. They cut him a break and let him in.
Yeah, he knew better than to close that door because 88 was coming.
And Middletown, Connecticut's Joey Logano forges to the front. Michael Waltrip on his bumper, and Harvick is right there in third.
And Mikey started back in, like, what, 22nd, I think it was. And here he is. So you always worry about where you start in these races. At Daytona, it really doesn't matter. The draft is so effective.
Martin Truex to the top spot. Truex, Harvick, Logano.
Jamie Jamie McMurray in that one, he's not bashful about throwing a block on another driver. He even threw the block on Paul Menard in that 27 right there.
As this race starts to get, as everybody starts to get comfortable, Larry, we'll see it more and more and more. They'll start pushing each other a little bit more down the straightaway, a little bit more in the corner, and that's when we got to be careful.
And look what happened to Truex on the inside. He had no one to draft with, and he drops back outside the top 10.
Pretty amazing that the guys that all started in the back, for the most part, have driven right to the front. Like I've always said, I'd rather be coming than going. Whoa, a little wobbling back there with Matt Kenseth in the 17.
And Kurt Busch in the 51.
And remember, Kurt Busch started at the back, and that car has no time on the racetrack. That's a backup car. He was one of those drivers involved in that crash yesterday.
Turn 4, we may have a new leader. Harvick on the bottom. Nope, not going to do it. Around the high side, Dale Jr., Jamie McMurray, and Kyle Busch in the 18. 1, 2, 3.
When we talk about pack racing in the way it used to be, and Michael was saying old school racing, that 88 car, he likes that. Dale Jr. in that 88 car, he likes that high line, and that used to work really well for him down here.
Now teammates hook up. 29 Harvick and 27 Paul Menard from Richard Childress Racing. They hook up, and instead of all the tandem racing we saw last year, Darrell, it kind of looks like catch and release racing. I'll help you down the straightaway, then I'll let you go a little bit, then we'll get together and we'll try again.
You see it right there, Mike, as you just said. Menard pushed Harvick down the back straightaway into the third turn, but he had to get off of him, and that opened the door for Dale Jr. to come right back.
But one reason that they have to do that is because these cars start overheating a lot quicker with the rule package that we have right now.
And they don't just start.
Trouble turn 2.
No.
5, 6 cars in it. And more. The dreaded consequence of pack racing is the big one.
Yep.
Paul Menard, the 11 of Denny Hamlin.
I can't even tell whose car that is.
That's actually David Reagan in the 34.
And Michael Waltrip will not go to victory lane tonight.
No.
First caution of the night, mid-pack between turns 1 and 2. From the blimp. Let's see what happens. McMurray in the one coming up, and Reagan gets in the back of Menard.
Yeah, that's what happened. He got down on that left side and pushed him right around. You just cannot touch a guy on the left rear corner or you're going to wreck him.
Montoya and Gordon get away. Kenseth's involved. The 55 of Michael Waltrip, heavy damage. Tony Stewart in the 14 scoots through. Here's another look. Watch the inside lane. The 34 and 27 is the first contact.
Yeah, the 27 of Menard, he needed a break right there. But David Reagan was all over him, and when Menard went up the hill just a little bit, Reagan was on that left corner and turned him around.
Damage to Casey Kane in the 5 as well as Hamlin in the 11.
Tony Stewart slipping right through that mess on the bottom there, and here comes Jimmy Johnson slipping along.
Now on this next replay, watch the 24 of Jeff Gordon come into view here along with the 17 of Kenseth. Little bump. Kenseth contact with Burton. He is sideways. He's in it. And Gordon, bump, bump, and by.
I have seen Jeff Gordon do that so many times, and that's just experience and keeping your cool and driving through it and not trying to avoid it.
It's right along inside the Farmers Insurance car.
Check up. Get low if you can.
Oh, man.
Got up into the walk in. He got the right front corner.
Big bump for Casey Kane. And now, this is Michael Waltrip's view looking over at Denny Hamlin.
Roll right up there. We're going to be right into it.
Not so pretty pictures from our new Fox side view cam. on Michael's car.
Jimmy
Johnson, 28.
25.
Johnson does a nice job, just like his teammate Jeff Gordon. Finds a little hole, finds a little place to go, and slips right through. Even with these cars, know you're going to come down the hill, but he makes it by.
One more look, super slow-mo. We've completed 10 of 75 laps. Big pileup between turns 1 and 2 in the Budweiser shootout. 15 to go in this first 25 lap segment. Caution on the racetrack and pit stops taking place. Krista.
Carl Edwards, and so is Kurt Busch. Right now, the biggest issue with Kurt Busch's car is he had to replace the shifter knob. It's loose, Matt.
And Jeff Gordon had a slight damage to the left rear area. They're going to work on that. They had a rub. Other than that, Gordon felt very lucky to get through that incident.
The hood is up on Clint Boyer's car. They're working on the right front suspension, it appears.
I got to believe he probably run over some of the debris in that accident. They're looking under the hood to see if there's any damage.
Big pileup down at turn number 1 as David Reagan got into the back of Paul Menard and others piled in.